Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I want to welcome all subscribers, new and old or whatever. And hope you're having a great day. It's a super rainy day here in North Carolina where we have like a hurricane stalled or moving very, very slowly over us. So it's just been raining all day. And it's supposed to be less rain tomorrow, but maybe a little bit of rain too. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm ready for it to move on. But yeah, today I was working on, I've been working on these journals with the scrappy covers. And the other day I had made, in my last video I showed you where I had made this paper bag out of vintage wrapping paper. And I have a collection of vintage wrapping paper that I have not really used. And I was like, when I was looking for paper for these journals, I looked through my wrapping paper and I pulled this pretty, flower power looking 70s vintage wrapping paper out. And I just wanted to see, what I could do with it. Did I want to make a page? And I ended up making this paper bag. So I thought, I said I would come back and show you how I did it. But meanwhile, while I was like trying to figure out how I did make that, because I was like, how did I do that again? So I made this, kind of a model and template for us to go by, but I'll show you what else I did this morning before work. I did a little bit of a test on the wrapping paper because, like I said, I haven't used it very much. And I wanted to see how it glued down because I started making this envelope is what I was doing. And see how cute. And I said, well, I would like to make an envelope out of this, but it seems so thin. And if I put an envelope made out of just wrapping paper in my journal, it might get torn or messed up with reaching in and out of it. And I just wanted it to be stronger than it is. So I was like, do I want to use file folder or what do I want to use? I got out a piece of file folder and was like, oh, that's going to be too thick for an envelope. So then I just got out of a piece of 8.5 by 11 white copy paper, cut my piece of, wrapping paper that I wanted to use for the envelope and glued it down with my craft bond. And I said, this will be a test today. I'm going to use some of this and glue it all down with craft bond and see what happens when I get home from work today. So, I tested it out and then left it to dry, left it all day, and came home and kind of felt it and looked at it and kind of tried to separate it or see if it was going to separate. And it is good. It's good to go. I mean, no separation. And you know how sometimes if you use glue and say even on like cardstock, this is file folder, and then you bend it, you can feel it like or hear it even crackling and coming loose. That's not happening here. So I'm super excited about that. Like I can use my wrapping paper with craft bond, a simple craft bond. It's Elmer's craft bond glue stick, and have faith that it will not come up. I can feel it. It is not coming up anywhere. The sides or whatever. I would just say originally I did make sure it was glued down. And this morning I went like this and said, do I have all the corners and the little sides glued down? And I, if I felt like I missed a spot, I went back and put some extra glue there, or not extra, or just maybe I missed a spot on the edge. So I made sure everything was glued down good. And there it is. When I got home, everything was still, great. So I made, let me show you what I made. So this was, the 2 layers of paper for the envelope. And then I started using the file folder for the other pieces. So I made this little book. It's not a book yet, but I thought, wouldn't it be cool to use some of this really pretty, awesome, which I love anyway, wrapping paper on a file folder journal cover. I just thought it was the cutest thing ever. And so I said, well, let me test it out and see what it does. And it glued down perfectly. Nothing coming up, nothing separating on this file folder. And I, rounded the corners even, and to make sure everything was good with that this morning. Made sure those corners were glued down before I left, and it's still glued down. I think it takes on the weirdest feeling when you glue this particular wrapping paper anyway. It almost feels like oilcloth, or I will describe it if you don't know what oilcloth is. It also might be described as a vinyl, but you know, thin vinyl. That's maybe a good way to describe oilcloth, a thin vinyl. It was a cloth or a kind of plasticized cloth that they used, I don't know when. Was it in the 70s or 80s? Maybe early 80s or something. But anyway, it's pretty cool. But they don't make, I don't think they make it anymore. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But anyway, that's what it feels like. Kind of like, I just thought of that just now when I was feeling it, because I was thinking vinyl, but oilcloth, if you know what that is, that's what it feels like. And then, so the same thing with the journal cards. It has that smooth feel like oilcloth. And there's the 2 journaling cards. Then I made some little tag. Well, this I thought would be a bookmark, but I made it in a tag shape, and then a tag. So I'm going to put little, you know, decorative strings or some kind of top on there, but I'm not at that point yet. I'm still kind of making these. And then I had some scraps, so or a scrap, made all these little tiny tags here, which are super cute with their pretty little colors and flowers. So I was going to show you how to make a paper bag real quick tonight. So this is our model. Let me get these over so I can show you some measurements. And I cut 2 pieces of paper ready to go to make our paper bag. This right here. This is our done one, and this is my template, so I can remember how I did it. So I'll just do one at a time here. I want to make, I'll have 4 all together for my journals is my goal. But so what I did was take this paper, you know, the same size as the paper I used for the original bag, and you can make these any size you want. What I did was say, I want to make a paper bag. Let me see. I need a model. I looked at a glassine bag and I kind of like used that as my model. So you can copy anything like that, right? So then I measured out these 2 pieces of paper, and just to let you know, if you want to make one the same size, this paper is, let's see, it's almost at the 7.5 mark. So let me show you exactly on my ruler here so you can see. It is, see the 7 1/4 right there, and it's about, well, it's 2 notches back from the 7.5, and 7 1/4 is right there, and it's, I guess it would be easier to tell you that it's 7.5 is right here, and it's 2 notches back. Okay, and then this way it is the length. It's 7 1/4, or if you want to be exact on my piece of paper here, it is pretty much 1 notch back from okay, I think I said that wrong. It is almost 6 3/4, and it's 1 notch back from 6 3/4. Okay. So then I take my piece of paper, that's how I made that one, and I folded it over so that I have a little space over here. See this white strip? I left that space to glue, to fold over and glue, because my thought was I wanted it to look like a real paper bag, not just like I took a piece of paper and glued the sides together, which is fine. You can do that. I've done it too. But I kind of just wanted this to look like a paper bag that I bought at the store, if that makes sense. You know, it's probably, you know, I don't want to admit that I'm a perfectionist, but I'm a recovering perfectionist. I try not to be perfect, but, you know, I try not to think that it has to be perfect, you know what I mean? But it's still there, so, you know, I don't think you ever recover from being a perfectionist. But, okay, so I got my little fold. See, I folded that little piece over the top. And then now I'll be folding that under as the part where I glue the side together right here for, you know, to me, it's like a professional look. I don't know. That's what I was going for, a professional look. So then, okay, I have my little fold. And then I'm just taking my scissors and I'm going to cut this piece over here, because I want this particular wrapping paper that I have has like a serrated edge. And I noticed, I think my glassine bags have a serrated edge on the top. And I was like, that's really cool. I want to have that on top just like my glassine bags, the professional bags, right? So I am cutting a piece here. I'm going to try to do this right on video, right? I'm cutting a piece. I got to remember where my fold is here, because I accidentally made an extra fold before I started the video. Okay, so it's this farthest out fold. So I'm cutting over to my fold, which is right here. So I'm going to cut a piece that is going to be, I can measure it if you want. I really didn't measure like to start with. The only reason I'm measuring is for you guys, so you know what I'm doing. So I'll measure this after I cut it off. Cut right on my fold there. Cut that little piece off, and it looks like 1/2 inch. Let's see. Oh, it's about 3/4 of an inch, really. Didn't think it was that wide, but it really is. It's a 3/4 of an inch that I cut off the bottom there. Okay, so we have that cut off, and then I'm going to do the same thing up here, but I want to cut off a little bit less than that much. So I want to cut off a smaller amount here. So I'm going to go up a little bit. And I'm going to guess that this is probably 1/2 inch, but it looks like maybe a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. We'll see. After I cut it off, I'll measure it. Okay. Trying to cut a straight line too, which is sometimes not so easy with scissors. Okay, so this piece is 1/2 inch. That piece is 1/2 inch. I just cut off the top. Okay, so you're left with this. Now see, here's your fold over at this point, and I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to make 2 angle cuts on the top and the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take it and go like this. I don't want to cut this piece though, so I'm going to go under that and just cut an angle here. And then I'm going to cut a little angle over here. Let's see, I'm going to turn it like this so I can see my angle, so I can try to get that same angle. This is how I do it. You can take that piece and turn it over if you want, or however you get your angles. See? Okay, now I have an angle. I have a little triangular piece here, right here on my fold over that needs to be cut off too. Just an extra little piece there. So I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so now this is our fold up at the bottom. And you can make that smaller if you want. Just, make it according to what you like. But it's going to go like this. This will be glued up. I like this glued up on the outside. You could put that on the inside if you wanted to, but I'm going to have it on the outside. And then up here, we're going to cut some angles. Okay. So I'm going to open this up again. Cut a little angle here. Well, I need to measure from where my fold over comes. See, right here, the top of my bag. So I'm going to cut right here. And again on the other side. Looking at my angle and trying to get the same angle. Let's see how I did. Okay, I'm going to cut this. Again, we have that little triangle here that I need to cut off on the fold over. Okay. So that's pretty much our template. Now it's pretty much done. I just want to look at it and make sure I don't need to readjust any kind of my angles or anything. This one didn't come out exactly like I want it here, but it's like nothing ever comes out perfect as your first one. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll have to work on that, but it'll be fine. Let's see. So I think I need to cut my angle over here a little bit more angled. I think that was a little bit more angled, so a little bit more off of that one. Okay, that looks better. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to look nice. So let me see. Let me see my first one again. Here's my first one. Oh, okay. Trying to see if it looks like my first one. Yeah, it'll be fine. Once I get it glued together, you'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these two together. and you'll see the finished product. So all I did was I did use art glitter glue on this because, you know, you're just really gluing a couple of pieces here, basically two pieces, the side here, and I'm going to glue this down, and I want to get my sides even here, you know, I mean, that's how you cut them, so it should be fine, it should be even. So get everything together there on the side, and then put a little glue down here just on the top of the flap is all you really need. You don't need it all over that. Just let's see, let's put it on the angles across the top and across this angle, because you don't need a whole lot of glue on there. Okay, and then it's basically done. Now you have a paper bag. Now we have two paper bags. Okay, and the same thing, let me get rid of my trash on this one. Let's go ahead and glue this one down and see how it comes out. I think I want to save this one as a template right now, though. Let's do this one real quick. I think we have time to do one more here. Yes, we do. Okay, so let's see how this one comes out. Okay, so here it is, our rectangle, or almost a square. We are going to fold it over, which, you know, I have my strip here. I'm going to fold this evenly with my top piece of paper. Okay, I'm folding it right against there so that when I glue it together, I'll have a nice tight fold, you know what I mean? No extra space. So there we go. Now we're going to cut our, I think I'm going to make a smaller. The last one was 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to cut it smaller this time. I want to see how that comes out. See, like I said, you can do it any size you want. You want a smaller flap on the bottom, you want a bigger flap on the bottom, just cut it however you want. But you're cutting a strip, whatever size you want, you're cutting that strip off the bottom there. So we have our bottom off. Then we cut our top, and I want to cut a smaller off the top too, a smaller strip. So we're going to cut that. Try to cut a straight line the first time, because if you don't cut a straight line, then it's kind of a pain trying to even it up. You know how that is if you try to cut straight lines, and then you have to even it up. Oops. That'll be all right. Okay. Now we've got our piece here. Yeah, that's going to be a much smaller little flap on the bottom, but I think it'll be good. I think I will like it smaller. So then we cut little angles. Let's see, I'm going to cut right a small angle there, and small angle here. Make sure I got that right. It looks good. And that little triangle that appears then on the little strip here, I'm going to cut that off. And then, sorry, my timer's doing things over there. Okay, and then the little angles on the top, which I'm measuring where I start by this flap, because I want the angle to go up from the flap, you know, the side part. And it's kind of awkward to hold it like this for the video, but there we go. And then this other angle here, which I can kind of see that from the back where I'm starting. Okay, that looks good. And that little triangle again over here, cut that off. Right, even with our flap, that corner that meets right there. Okay, I think we have another paper bag here. So then we're going to glue this little, let me get all the trash out of here. Move, move, move. Okay, a little bit of glue on here. There we go. And It's simple, right? I'm going to get my sides together evenly here, so let me try to get that down right. Okay, I think this one's coming out even better than the last one. Okay, let's fold this flap up that we're going to glue up, and the other flap at the top, I'm leaving it up as a paper bag. You could actually say this was a coin envelope, make this flap a little bigger, and then you'll have your, flap to fold down on the top for an envelope. But I'm making paper bags, so at the moment. But and if I was going to make an envelope, I would probably put a second layer on it, like I did the other envelope that I showed you. Second layer of paper. There we go. I like that one. That one came out perfect. So cute. Okay, so we have 3 paper bags now, and all I have to do is glue that other one together, and I'll have 4 paper bags for my journals made out of wrapping paper. So I just wanted to show you that, because I told you I would show you that the other day, plus ways to use in case you're like me and you've found this awesome vintage wallpaper, but you haven't used it. Now you know a few ideas anyway of what you can do with it. Make a bunch of fun stuff like this for your journals, ephemera, and maybe even a little journal or a big journal or whatever size journal you want to make out of some file folder with it glued on like that. And then you can put another piece in here if you want to. I was just experimenting, like I said, but something else, another piece in there for the inside. That's a whole other experiment, and putting pockets in and things, but super cute, right? And there's our paper bags, and I will see y'all next time with some more work on those journals, and hope y'all have a great day or great rest of the week or weekend, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching today, everybody. Have a great night. Happy crafting.